So the big thing that I want to open today's stream with was to talk a little bit about election stunts, because the UK's current general election has kind of been an election of stunts. And today, we probably got the weakest, I would say, in that Jonathan Ashworth, who is the Labour Party's... he's currently Shadow Paymaster General. For a long time, he was the health spokesperson for, or the Shadow Health Minister. The Paymaster General is a ministerial cabinet position. They are the principal paying agent of the government and the banker for all government departments except the Revenue Department and the National Debt Office. Do they just have to sign the checks? Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. If you're making a very good point in the chat, Jonathan Ashworth is not currently an MP because we are in an election. There are currently no MPs. But a few weeks ago, he was an MP, and in a few weeks, he will once again be an MP, most probably. So earlier today, Jonathan Ashworth pulled off this, I'm going to say incredibly dull stunt, in which he shredded the Conservative Party manifesto.
Utterly shredded by Jeremy Hunt.
Just to clarify, so this is Jonathan Ashworth, the future potentially Paymaster General, and recently Jeremy Hunt said something in an interview which supposedly revealed that the Conservative Party manifesto isn't fully costed, right? Political parties in the UK have a bit of an obsession with the idea of manifestos being fully costed, which maybe makes some sense, right? Basically, when each political party publishes a manifesto, they also usually will publish what's called a grey book. So if the manifesto is the kind of like fun, jazzy document that's like, hi, I've got a button here, we're the Button Party, and we're going to be pledging to make 100 million buttons next year, and we're also going to be building a bridge to the moon. The grey book is the book that goes, okay, so it's going to cost this much to make the 100 million buttons, it's going to cost this much to build the bridge to the moon. In order to pay for that, we're gonna levy a wealth tax, right, on oil companies or something, and those numbers balance out to be equal. And therefore, our budget is fully costed, right? Because the new spending that we're pledging to do is balanced out by like new or changed taxes or any other kind of form of income that the government might be able to generate. The kind of additional bit of context is that British political parties at the moment are like particularly obsessed with this. We're essentially seeing an election which is entirely based around the idea that there's no money, which kind of is and isn't true. We won't dig into that too much. But both political parties are just spending the entire time kind of shouting at each other going, you can't afford to do all those things. No, you can't afford to do all those things. I mean, the Labour Party keeps saying, we're not going to really do much because we can't afford to do it. The Conservative Party manifesto is supposedly fully costed. But the other day, Jeremy Hunt, who's the Chancellor of the Exchequer, basically the Conservative Party's money guy, essentially made some comments which suggested that it wasn't. And so the Labour Party, and particularly Jonathan Ashworth, have jumped on this to pull off this incredible, very fun stunt.
I am going to, for your shred the Tory manifesto, just as Mr. Hunt has shredded all of the commitments in this manifesto in his revelations, in his newsletter to constituents in the marginal constituency he is fighting. This is the Tory manifesto, utterly shredded by Jeremy Hunt.
What incredible electioneering. So, Gungastan has said in the chat that he's no Ed Davey. So for anyone watching that is not in the UK, Ed Davey is the leader of the Liberal Democrat Party, which is the kind of notionally, the UK's sort of notionally centrist party. They are kind of very literally the descendants of the Liberal Party, which was the main kind of foil to the Conservative Party, the main opposition to the Conservative Party during the 1800s, right? So these days, the Liberal Democrat Party is, once upon a time, would have been described as the third party of British politics. Maybe isn't quite now. They sort of jostle a little bit with the SNP, although that's kind of limited to Scotland. They might find themselves jostling a little bit with Reform Party, or maybe with the Conservative Party, for that title. But effectively, for a long, long time, they've been one of the three big political parties in the UK, and win a sizable number of seats, right? It would be a very big surprise if they became the government. You know, that is very much a contest between Labour and the Conservative parties these days. And yet they kind of remain up there, and they get tens of seats, which is impressive in a first past the post system. But one of their ways of getting noticed, because obviously, you know, the newspapers, the news channels, they're mostly interested in the Conservatives and in the Labour parties, right? The two parties that are probably going to form the next government, and the leaders of whom are going to be the Prime Minister, etc. And so the way that the Liberal Democrats have decided that they are going to make sure that they get a lot of attention during this election is that Ed Davey, who is their leader, has just been doing a kind of series of increasingly ludicrous stunts, most of them seemingly based around theme parks, or like at least places that you would go on a day trip. Here he is a few weeks ago, stand-up paddleboarding. Oh. And then he fell off. He fell off. I think he stood up again later. I think the second time, I sort of contend that the second time here, I think he did that on purpose. Oh, he did. He did admit to intentionally falling off. See, no, so I think the first time, I think this is a legit fall. Like, because he's not steady at any point there. I think that might be a legitimate fall. Whereas the later one, here, where he sort of does this face where he goes like, and I'm like, I got you. I spotted you, man. Because it's a good story, right? So I will be clarifying that Jonathan Ashworth's shredding of the thing looks like it was cobbled together in about an hour. That some poor aide got sent to whatever the closest Argos is to wherever Jonathan Ashworth is. They're like, get me a shredder, stat. Oh, shredding his tie would have been okay. So the Ed Davey approach here would be that he shreds this, but then he gets his tie caught in it, and he goes like, oh, and then everyone finds it fun, and it becomes like a fun kind of thing. So this is going to be D. Our very bottom tier. I think for me, it's just the fact that it's all a bit awkward. Do we think it's the full manifesto, or do we? I mean, it's got staples, so this shredder does clearly. It can handle a stapler. So I think this one's doing quite well in my mind, because I feel like this was the first of this general election, or it was definitely the first one that I saw was Ed Davey paddleboarding and intentionally throwing himself off the thing for the story. Oh yeah, that's true actually. Sorry, Eric77 making the good point that the most recent shredder-based political stunt was the Israeli ambassador to the UN shredding, was it like the UN Charter on Human Rights or something? So this was the last political party stunt. The last political stunt involving a shredder. The little shredder's kind of cute.
You are shredding the UN Charter with your own hands.
Well, I've got that. I think I've got that exact. I've got a little book. I think it's over there. Wait, give me 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds. Don't worry, I got it. It's fine. It's fine. You might have. It turns out he only shredded one copy of it. It does have a Spinal Tap feel to it. Yeah, I feel like if you're going to do prop-based speech politics, you need to have a big version of the thing. Or like you need... So I don't know why I'm So I don't know why I'm giving advice to the Israeli ambassador to the UN who's trying to do genocide apology. But like, I feel like when you read about these things in history books, right, they set it on fire, or they like rip it up. Like, getting out the shredder. Does this man just have like very weak arms? Could he not like sort of get into it, you know? Okay, so back to our political stunts. So I'm going to give Ed Davey falling off this. I want to kind of give this a B, because I feel like it started something, you know? It might not be the best stunt, but A? I just think it's slapstick, you know? It's very Mr. Bean. Let's find another. So this is 2 weeks ago. Ed Davey rode a water slide. I love the fact, so all of these basically have some sort of policy attached to them that he's trying to discuss. There's something to be said about the fact that all of these stunts have been doing reasonably well in getting people like remembering that both Ed Davey and the Liberal Democrats exist. What they're less good at is getting people to actually talk about any of their manifesto or policies, or like the potential of voting for them. So to give you the context for this, this is the Liberal Democrats leader, Sir Ed Davey, slid down a water slide riding a rubber ring as the party campaigned about children's mental health. Where does Ed Davey going down a slide go in our ranking? For me, it's like a C, because it's not that different. Like, but the paddleboarding had the kind of slapstick element to me. Like, this one's just a slide, right? Pretended Aim says it has a bit of a Make-A-Wish feel. It feels as though he's just worked out that he can convince the Lib Dems to pay for him to just live his summer holiday dream.
Others can make their own views. Behind that fund there's a very serious message. So in the Lake District,
Sorry, what?
when I came down that slide with those lovely children, that was about mental health, about the mental health of our children and young people, which is again been ignored by the Conservatives.
Oh, Mike Ding Dong saying Hugh Bonneville would play a great Sir Ed Davey. Absolutely. Or vice versa. Ed Davey could be in Paddington 3. Not with this little beard, but here. Yeah, totally. He is waiting for that role. Where on our list is just kind of cooking a barbecue. It's quite classic, isn't it? This feels like any politician could do this. I'm going to put it... it's going to get a B, though. I do think it's better than the water slide. So, like, if you want to do the one where he's on the paddleboard, right? And you want to use this to raise awareness of the water companies pumping sewage into the lakes, just dress up as a massive shit. Right? That would be my pitch. And just be in the water. Like, look at me. I'm a massive poo. I'm here. And no, he has to be getting rid of the poo, doesn't he, I guess? So he's on the paddleboard, and someone else is on another paddleboard, and they're dressed up as Rishi Sunak dressed up as a poo, and he's like chasing them, like, I'm gonna get ya, I'm gonna get ya, I'm gonna get you out of this lake. I want more stunts. Okay, this is not from this election specifically, but I think it looks good. Oh, this looks quite good, to be fair. Like, this makes sense. See, I think this is good. There's a message here. Ed Davies, Tory removals. Okay, this is S tier for me. This is top of the chain, because it just makes sense, right? This is a good stunt because the thing that he's doing directly connects to the thing. He's not just frolicking about in a big pond. I think he's done a roller coaster. Oh, he built a sandcastle the other day. Which, if I was going to try and make a sandcastle for an election stunt that's going to be, people are going to take photos of it, it's going to be on TV, I wouldn't choose a complicated bucket like this. I don't know how many of you are sandcastle experts out there, but like little stuff like this, that's complicated to get to work, you know? Maybe he's going to make it work, though. Oh.
I think that's not bad.
He is going to charge it the bedroom tax, so...
The Democrats winning here.
That's... see, I don't know what the kind of like connotations of that are. Like, we are winning this castle made of sand. This does not come super high for me, I'm not going to lie. I think it's B. It's on the barbecue level. Here he is 7 days ago, riding a roller coaster in Thorpe Park. Or are they just other people? Are these just like just like normal people that are also on this ride. They're like, hey, me as well. Did he just want to go on whatever the new ride is? And this was a way to make it happen. It does say something about the Liberal Democrats at the moment that presumably some of these other people are also like senior Liberal Democrats, and I have no idea who they are. I think this gets really like reasonably good points for me. I just think the fact that he's managed to convince his aides and campaign team that it's essential in order to win the election that they go to Thorpe Park and go on a bunch of rides. He must have what the young people I think call the Riz to convince his team that was in any way a good strategy. Like, could any of us say what policy he was here to promote? You know, he was saying about how he went on the water slides to promote children's mental health. Do you reckon he's doing this one in order to get people talking about the NHS? Yeah, being on a roller coaster also not necessarily great connotations. Oh, okay, interview on the teacups is also good.
What are you doing on the economy?
Yeah, we've got to get it growing again, and that'll be helped by cutting the NHS waiting list, also by getting a much better trade deal with Europe, and by investing in the skills of our young people. So, you know, we've got great policies for the economy, including the cost of living!
Like, if he was in any way kind of, like, not that he's not a serious candidate, but if the Lib Dems had any chance of kind of, like, winning, I feel like there'd be all kinds of puns you could, you know, Ed Davey dizzy on power. Ed Davey round in circles again. You know, like his opponents could come up with all kinds of ways of like critiquing this. Ed Davey's basically like an Instagram influencer just doing stuff to get likes. But I think this is quite high up for me. I think this is S tier for me. So he did a separate water park. This is a bit try hard. Okay, I think this one's too try hard for me though. It's not high up. Thing is, though, it is a bit better than the water slide. Sandcastles. Yeah, no, it is. It's on a tier with sandcastles, I think. You know. So we've done the water park. Oh, okay. This time he did more of an assault course. Oh, no. You have to properly go for it on the slide your body. That's not... This is within... This feels like it's within the rules of the cargo net, but it's not within the spirit of the cargo net, you know? The spirit of the cargo net is drag that body. Don't know where this one's going, because it's not good, but is it, like, worse than Sandcastles? I think it's just too similar to the other one, so it's probably going here. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the assault course. I don't think he really did it much justice. A trampoline. Okay, I'm interested to see the trampoline. So I quite like this one. I think it's good old-fashioned fun. You know, this is for all the family. This, for me, is A. I don't think it's the removals van. Oh, I've not seen the Dawn Butler rap, actually. Is it good? Okay, 21 days to go, it's called. Vote for Labour.
Dawn Butler.
Okay, so it's a vertical video on YouTube, and that's minus points for me already. Okay, Funky Flipping Monk says it's not awful.
Dawn Butler Nelson production. Come on, 4th of July. Don't forget to
We got 21 days to go. We got 21 days to go.
I think the fact she's clearly having fun sort of makes it okay.
They say who you like. 21 days to have you say. Toys won't like me anyway.
Oh, I think it's fun. Not gonna lie. Expected that to be really cringe from your descriptions of it. It's not high art, is it? But in terms of our Ed Davey tier list, I think that rounds us off. I mean, the kind of tier list bulge is definitely more towards the top than the bottom. Oh, and this is Jonathan Ashworth at the bottom with his terrible shredder thing. So this rounds off our Ed Davey list. I mean, yeah. It's an interesting strategy in terms of him trying to get coverage. He's clearly getting some coverage. Does anyone remember about the children's mental health because he went down the water slide? Probably not. I feel like what he's gone for is he's gone for number of stunts rather than really thinking about the stunts, you know?